Oh, are we live? I saw some numbers there.
No, we wouldn't be live yet. Say really stupid things that you should never say live. Get them out now.
You do try and trick me, Nate. I see a live thingy in the corner.
Wow. Are you done messing with your little camera stuff? I kind of like the circle
this is cool. Yeah, no, this is awesome.
I want to be circle. I want to be a circle.
We're doing circles today. All right,
I think so.
The circles look a little bit small. We need them to be bigger.
Make the radius bigger. I don't know.
We're circles.
What is this? New year, new circles, new podcast, same crappy old podcast. I don't know.
New year, new straight pull high run record.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's a pretty good one too.
It seems to be quite a regular thing as well, to be honest.
I don't even remember what the original the original record, I guess, was 525. Seems like so long ago.
526 Mosconi.
526, yeah, 526.
626 John Smith, 714 contentious, could be 669 or whatever it was, but then Jayson
or both.
Or both, and now 832 still waiting for confirmation, but I don't know.
Well,
pretty impressive stuff. It's not that's a big number.
Yes. I mean, we're still only realistically seeing basically Earl Strickland and Jayson Shaw try this. I know Shane tried it for a hot second last year and ran like 400 or something like that, didn't he? Like 470 maybe, that jumps to mind. But I mean, realistically speaking, it's still really only Jayson and Earl that are trying it, and Earl has zero chance of ever breaking it. He just doesn't have the firepower anymore. So, I mean, unless we're going to see somebody like Josh Filler realistically show up and try this, I don't think that there's another person on earth that has a prayer at getting anywhere over 600 or 700.
Well, the thing is, see, this is the thing, we don't really know, do we? Because like you said, nobody's really tried it. And yes, there's been a few that have had a go at it, but I mean, I just think in my opinion of it, Jason's managed to find some sort of motivation to put him through himself through absolute hell like 4 times now.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody else has that motivation. And I think, as we know within the world, the pool world, the only real motivation that counts is money.
Cash only.
Exactly. You stick up a big prize pot for the first one at 1,000, and more people get motivated to try it. Whether or not they can or not, I mean, I would still put Jayson up there as one of the top, probably top 3 that could realistically do it. Because it's not necessarily going to be the best straight pool player in the world that does it. It's going to be the guy that doesn't expend as much energy throughout that amount of time, plays at a fast pace.
That's why I don't think Fedor has ever chance. Fedor has no chance.
No, Fedor not. You'd have to start playing a bit quicker and taking a few more risks. Phil's the kind of guy, if you believe all the stories that are correct, that every time he goes to his practice room, he runs 200 balls and then stops, and he does it every single day that he practices. Then if you believe those kind of things, then yeah, you've obviously got to put Phil in an equation. He also has the right kind of temperament, the right kind of speed for it.
And Jayson, psychopath.
Yeah, Jayson took 4 hours, so you're talking about 5 hours for Jayson to get to the 1,000. That's a long time to be bending down and standing up. I've spoken to Jayson since then. He said his body's an absolute mess. His legs are hurting, his back's done, his right hand side is all twisted. It's just very, very punishing. I mean, Jason's quite. I mean, he's not fat, but he's a big built guy. And to be holding that torso down and then bringing it back up and going down and then bringing it back up, and he's doing it at a fast rate as well. It's almost like he's doing sit-ups continually for 5 hours. That's going to take his toll on your back. And so I mean, I'd love to see. I mean, I made a post before Jayson, about 2 months before Jayson did his 714. Somebody had gone on to Facebook and said that they wondered why not more players were trying to break the world straight pool record. John Schmidt had it at the time, and I said it was I said then the same as what I've said recently on Facebook, that if somebody put up $1 million and everybody then had the motivation to do it, that throughout time, with people trying to get the 1,000, the 626 would get broken. John Schmidt blocked me because he found that disrespectful, and then 2 months later, Jayson ran 714, and now he's got 823 or 832. And then I posted it yesterday again on Facebook saying, put up $1 million and you'll see the 1,000 happening pretty quickly. Jayson could well be the guy that does it. And then I get the same kind of reaction from some people. It's like, well, straight pull, there is no limit to what you can run at straight pull. When it will stop is as soon as somebody does get the 1,000, the whole thing just stops. Because the next step is, what's the next step?
It'll never happen again.
It'll never happen again. So once somebody breaks the 1,000, this whole thing that's going on just now with Jayson and the straight pull records, which I think is absolutely fantastic. I wish more people would do it, but it stops as soon as somebody hits 1,000, because the first one to hit 1,000, then that's it, you know. And I watched Jayson's run, and the first feeling, the first emotion I had when he missed was not, wow, what a great run. It was shit, almost, you know. And I'm pretty sure that was probably the initial feeling that Jayson had as well, you know, because he was already the record holder. He wanted that 1,000, and he still wants the 1,000. And I think he'll probably get it at some stage. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had some business to do with Ara before his wife, or right after he broke the record. And I mentioned it right away. I'm like, so congratulations, 832. That's pretty strong. And she's like, he doesn't give a shit. The only thing he cares about is 1,000. He couldn't care less about 832. And
I know
that's exactly what you're saying.
What's it? You already had the record. I mean, if somebody else had the 714, then at least you say, no, I've got the record. But you already had the record. Nobody else is really going for it and trying it. So that 714 was going to stand until Jayson himself broke it again. And I think, if he decides that he really wants to have another crack at it, there's nothing to stop him from breaking it again, you know. And it'll be up to Jayson, because nobody's going to put up the kind of money that's going to entice the rest of the world to get involved in it. You know, they don't want to put themselves through that. Jayson's he's a bit stubborn and a bit of a sadist kind of thing. He loves putting himself through that kind of, you know, sort of brutalizing his body in order to prove a point kind of thing. And he's quite stubborn. When he sets himself a goal, he sticks to it until he gets there, you know. And I don't see him stopping anytime soon. This might take another couple of years before he gets it, because it's not something you're going to do every single month. You know, he's got a career that he has to, you know, he's got tournaments he has to play as well.
Especially as the calendar fills out. I mean, this seems to be kind of the only dead spot in the calendar at this point.
Yeah, that's it. Unless he decides to give other stuff up. If he decides, right, I'm not doing Derby anymore or stuff like that, you know, or yeah.
Yeah, I know. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me, you know, what's going on with the podcast? Why aren't we seeing any new ones? And I mean, realistically speaking, I mean, there wasn't much happening, and this is the first year that I've kind of taken a holiday break, and I didn't do it necessarily on purpose. I just kind of happened to be busy with a lot of, you know, stuff, a lot of projects that I've been working on, and some stuff with my work life and my personal life. And I've been playing a little bit of pool the last few weeks. I've had a couple. I've been playing a couple like weekend tournaments that go from like Wednesday to Sunday. So I always get a little far behind when I go to those events, and you know, usually I spend Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday trying to catch up, and so I know. I didn't mean to take this much time off, but it just kind of worked out that way, I guess.
It wasn't. There's not really. I mean, we could have done 3 consecutive episodes talking about Mosconi Cup, but you know, yeah. Other than that, nothing's really happened. Alex Kazakis is officially the world number 1, according to the WPA. Congratulations, Kazabubu.
This is the second time he's been world number 1.
Second time he's been world number 1. Yeah. That's what happens. That's what happens when anyone becomes world number 1 when all the good players disappear.
Wow. Let's not get disrespectful. Alex is still a good player. Let's not go there.
He knows I'm only joking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so we now have 2. So we now have 2 world number 1s. Brilliant. Thank you.
One world number 1 and one real world number 1. I'll let you decide who.
Yeah, depends what side of the fence you're on.
Well, when was the last?
As far as that goes, there's not really been any developments. There's no new news on that either. I haven't seen. It's all gone very, very quiet as far as the whole Matchroom WPA situation goes.
Yeah, I mean, Matchroom's been ignoring him the whole time, pretty much. I mean,
yeah, but I'm kind of almost expecting some sort of press release from the WPA, just outlining exactly what's going to happen this year. You know, last year around about this time or in February time, they announced tournaments that they would consider as sanctioned.
Yep.
I'm wondering if there's going to be something similar like that coming from the WPA in the next couple of months,
Well, they're going to
just.
Yeah, they're going to have to with the World Championship, right? The World
Championship is sanctioned. So,
well,
but the problem they have is, they start banning players, and do they ban players and then allow them to play the World Championship that's hosted by Matchroom? I mean, it's a bit of a weird one, that.
Yeah, I to be honest, I never actually. Well, no, they've got to be able to play it because it's sanctioned. So why wouldn't they be able to?
Yeah, no, but it's just a bit of a weird one.
We're
banning all these Matchroom players, and then we're letting them play in the World Championships.
Well, you think Matchroom is going to say, "Yeah, you can't play in my event"? Matchroom is the one paying out the money. Matchroom is the one that's organizing it.
I'm talking about the WPA,
Well, I know, but what happened? Yeah. WPA goes up to Shane Van Boning and says, "You can't play the World 9-ball." Matchroom, who's going to enforce it?
No, they can't do that. It's just a little bit of a weird situation.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you. I just think Matchroom will tell them to go pound sand.
Yes.
I mean, that's what
they must have some sort of agreement with the WPA to be sanctioned for a certain amount of time. I think when that amount of time dissipates, then we have a Matchroom World 9-ball Championships. Probably. And the WPA go back to the desert somewhere and do theirs there.
Yeah, probably go back to Qatar. Or
I don't know, we'll have to see. But it's all gone quiet on that front. There's not a lot happening. I guess it all blows up again around about UK Open time. I guess that'll be the first major match. World Championships is in April. World Championships is first, I think, isn't it?
Well, I mean, historically speaking, I believe. Historically speaking, I want to say, well, the World Cup of Pool historically has always been in March, I believe.
Yes, but that's one of these invitations. That doesn't count towards it. Nobody cares about that.
No. I'm just historically trying to think of like the actual the schedule of events, I guess. I think the UK Open was first.
The UK Open was the first major last year, but I think the World Championship may be scheduled for April, no? Anyway, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, as far as I know, the Matchroom schedule still isn't out, which is very confusing to me. I mean, I know that there's probably a lot that goes into those things, and I mean, I guess it's not something that just happens overnight. But you would think that like it would at least be released quarterly. I mean, you can't still be having questions on dates and venues choices at this point if we're half months away from an event, are we? Yeah, maybe.
I mean, rumor has it that Fulda is not happening again.
That's the rumor.
The rumor is I assume the European Open will happen again, but the rumor is that it will not be in Fulda, which is a shame because I quite enjoyed Fulda. And it's only a 4-hour drive for me, so it was quite nice. But that's the rumor I've heard that don't go putting anything saying, oh, it's not. Let's just say it's a little bit background gossip that Fulda is not happening. I assume there will be a European Open, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, I mean, they could just end up having it at Milton Keynes again, right? I mean,
I think they'll keep it. I think they'll find somewhere in with it if they have to.
It'd be nice to keep it.
I think they'll leave on the continental Europe, so that Germany, Austria, something like that.
I shouldn't say it would be nice to see it in Poland. I know that they had the World Championships that one year, and I just think that I think Poland has to have an event. Personally,
I just think the Polish Federation are very WPA. Don't forget that.
They are, but there's enough of Poland around that. Yeah. I mean, as far as getting on the ground, it would be nice to have that point of contact. Yeah, you're probably right. But which European nation isn't WPA centric and has sway? I mean, Germany's like that. Poland's like that.
Yeah, Germany's not. Yeah,
maybe Spain, but I mean, they don't have a. I could be wrong on this. I'm talking about things I'm not sure of, but I don't think that the Spanish Federation is like overly influential or powerful.
Spain would be a good choice. I mean, they don't have the Spanish Open anymore. I would like to see that happen again.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and see. It might actually still be in Fulda, but
That's possible.
We will see.
Nobody's gonna know until somebody knows, huh?
So what we got coming up next? We got another turning stone for Jayson to win his 30th turning stone. He's got to be in good stroke by now, surely.
Well, yeah. I mean, if he's not hitting him good at this point, I don't know what's going to make him. Although,
I think the only thing that might hold him back is he has literally destroyed his body doing it.
Yeah.
He's a mess, where he says he's a complete mess. He needs to go to the chiropractor and everything. But I mean, assuming he can get his back straight again and get over the ball, he's going to be in dead stroke.
Yeah, the arm should be flowing. The arm should be. I mean, you got to get used to actually playing on pockets that aren't 17 inches anymore, but
16 and a half.
Yeah.
Give him some credit.
I round up.
I actually sent a message to Niels when Jayson did his 832. I sent a message to Niels because Niels is probably one of the greatest European straight bull players as far as titles that there's ever been.
Thorsten and Niels. Yep.
And he's got a record on his own table at home, which is the same as my table. So you were not talking about 5-inch pockets.
7-inch pockets.
Yeah, 7 then. All right. And he's got in the 400s kind of thing. So I sent a message. You don't fancy having a go at this? And he says, if you can find me a table with 5-inch pockets and a new cloth and shiny balls to play on, then yes. But and he's right what he says. Unless you have that table set and made up for you, like Jayson did. It's very difficult to find a table that
I think it's 5.5 inch on the sides, right? I think it's 5.5 inches.
5.5 on the sides, 5 in the corners. But which is
and you can't do it on a Racing table either, because the side pockets are they're cut too tough. I mean, it has to be on basically an Olhausen. Maybe you could do it on a Diamond, but even the corner pockets then is the cuts on them is you really have to do it on a Gold Pro.
You could do it on an Old Brunswick.
You have to. That's the thing. And you probably have, realistically speaking, if you could find a mechanic that would like volunteer their time to set it up, I mean, you're still looking at $600 to $700 to get a table ready for it.
Well, this is not something that you can just walk into your pool hall with your camera and expect to shoot a big number on, because it's not going to happen. So yeah. So Niels wasn't interested in it.
I talked to John Salim on Monday, and he was saying that he ran like 415 on tight pockets or something like that, some low 400 number, or maybe it was upper 300, somewhere upper 300, lower 400 on 4.25-inch pockets. And I asked him, like, do you think that you could do what Jayson did? And he's like, I don't think so, but I did. He did run around 400 on a tight pockets. I'm like, would you ever try it? He's like, I don't hate myself enough to put myself through that. Like,
and that's it. But they love money enough to put themselves through it. So put the money up for it. I mean, it's not like Jayson's not making anything out of this. Don't get me wrong, but it's not enough to entice the majority of players. He's got his own motivations for this as well. But it's great to see. I can't wait for him to go. I was so gutted when I woke up and I looked at my telephone and I got a message I got several messages, and one of them was Jayson's on 8:15 and counting. No, Jayson's on 7:15 and counting, just taking a 5-minute break. Then I had another one saying 800 and counting. And I woke up and I looked at his message. Like, shit. So I'm on my phone. I'm frantically trying to find it, and then I found it, and it's just this. It's just the camera pointing at the table with the balls on the table and nothing moving. Oh no! And I'd literally got the last message about it like 20 minutes before. I'm like, shit, it's finished. Then I scrolled back and I saw him play the combi, and I thought, and with the 5-ball hanging there as well, it's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, there he is. He said he's doing that one for free. I mean, I don't know.
Well, Jayson's here.
I think that combination at the time, I don't know if Jayson would say that was the wrong shot, but I don't know anything about straight pool, so don't get me wrong. But it looked to me like that was a weird shot in the moment. I know he was trying to break out that little tiny cluster, but
you can play the 5, but he got a bit unfortunate. He tried to break some balls up, and two balls went stuck together, and the combi meant it was all going to be open if he makes it. So he's played the attacking shot, which he plays the attacking shots all the time, kind of thing. So why not play it then? But yeah, when you miss it, you can always turn around and say, I could have just knocked the 5 in, come up table, and sorted out later on. But if he makes it,
Yeah.
it's another rack gone, and he's closer to the 1,000. You know, so it's hindsight kind of thing. But
Yeah,
Jayson could tell himself that Jayson, did you play the right shot badly, or did you play the wrong shot? If I take the 5, I got no balls to break them up. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, he's having at some stage he's going to have to play a big shot to break them up. You know. So
yeah,
I mean,
you had to get onto I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about straight pool, and I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to shoot differently at 832 versus
See, that's the trick behind it. You should shoot the same shot every time.
Well, if that shot is 100 and if that shot is shot number 73, I think it's absolutely the right shot. But just given the moment, but you're right. It shouldn't matter, right? I mean,
one thing I do know, if he's on 992, he just picks off 8 balls. And
guaranteed. Yeah, guaranteed. He doesn't give a shit about those balls.
He doesn't play the combi on 992. He picks off the 8 open balls and then says, "Right, that's me. I'm done. See you later. I'm going home."
He's got a better he's got a better chance of using that as that combination as a break ball than he does taking it right away.
yeah, exactly. He picks off the 8 open ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's a thing. I don't know. I don't know anything about straight pool. Certainly not enough to talk educatedly about it. But I mean,
it's just.
You definitely. I mean, when you sit down to play blackjack, it doesn't matter if you're betting $1,000 or you're betting $5. You hit a 6 against an 8, right? You just have to do it blindly, and you just don't think, you just do it, right? I mean, it's probably one of those situations. This is the right shot. It doesn't.
That's what makes Jayson so good at these high runs. That, I mean, out of his 832 shots that he's played, there's probably, if there's 30 that he's actually had to really think about, that he's really had to spend any time looking at, that's probably quite a lot. The majority of it is just, you see him, he's just getting over. He's one pumping it, one pumping, plop, 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 and he's going through the rack so quickly. Occasionally, you've got to think about, okay, what's my key ball? Where am I going from here? How do I break these up? But majority of the time, it was most racks, he was getting into the pack, coming underneath with the cue ball, and then cutting a ball into the bottom corner from the short rail and cutting back to the bottom. And then they were just getting flying open again. And it was almost like it was just it was quite repetitive, a lot of the racks that he was playing. It was the same things that were happening all the time. And if you can get that kind of rhythm going where you're repeating the same shots and the same scenarios, it becomes quite automatic after that many balls. It was the same, most of the time, it was the same angle he was leaving on the break ball. And he was getting comfortable with that shot and just ramming it in. He wasn't going close to the scratches again like he had been in previous attempts. And he was keeping the white under control. He was never really in any real danger. The only thing that could really happen was just a little bit of bad fortune, or not concentrating enough, or just not getting or just getting a bad break ball. And
was it 59 racks?
Yeah, it was very difficult for him to leave himself a bad break ball because he was quite comfortable with leaving himself a huge angle. Yeah, there he goes. He's like 5 times out of the full run that got difficult. And that's it. 832 balls, and there's 5 times where he thought, I might be in trouble here. How good have you got to play to only be thinking to yourself 5 times? and 832 shots, but it's repetitiveness of it,
I swear to God, I break and run a rack of 8 ball and I get out of line 5 times in a single rack.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. If I've only got 5 difficult shots playing 9 ball, I'm happy. But yeah, I mean, but that's it. And he got himself in a rhythm. He was happy to leave himself those very big angles for the break ball, which meant that he had a lot of room for it. He was never ever going to come straight on it. He was never ever not going to leave himself a shot to break the pack. And when you're comfortable playing those shots, I mean, if you were to get down and play the standard break shot that Jayson was using, if you were to get down and play that on your table, you'd think that's quite a tough shot. I mean, it's a back cut line pocket.
Jason's in the kind of thing, Jason's in the chat, and Jayson, if you want to join in and chat with us, you're more than welcome to. So just send me a message or something. We'll get you in. But I mean, this is a good question for Jayson in the chat. Like, if you're going to shoot that shot on those 4-inch pockets on a matchroom stage, I mean, how do you feel about that shot? I mean, that's your break shots. That is. I mean, that's.
They're not easy shots, but if you're playing
No,
the same
they're
shot
not.
all the time,
They're a lot
if you're
easier on
playing the same
5-inch
shot all the
pockets.
time, you know, then I mean, eventually you get it dialed in, you know.
I mean, how many times have we seen Shane miss that same shot in the Mosconi Cup in the last few years?
He's missed all kinds of different shots.
Well, that's true.
Shane would miss the bus to the venue if he didn't have the rest of the team with him.
Wow, that's rude.
I know. I only joke, Shane.
Talk nicely about our Captain America. All right, he's our hero. Would not leave it. Well, of course you'd never leave it, but
would not leave it. Would leave less angle.
He would not leave that shot if he had to shoot it on a matchroom stage.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
okay. All right, maybe your opponent leaves it for you. Maybe your opponent leaves it for you. Yeah.
No,
well, you have to. I mean, it's different conditions. Of course, you have to.
And you just take that shot on that matchroom stage, and that's. I mean, you're supposed to make it. You're 85% to make it, but like, he's 100% to make it on those on those tables, and you know, even if you're 5% to make it on that matchroom stage, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
That's a hard shot, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, and it's blind pocket, you know, and I just say, that's why he runs the big numbers, because he knows leaving that shot, it's just a case of making the ball.
Yeah.
Just make it. And if you're making it every single time and you've made it 58 times, you're going to make it the 59th time as well, aren't you?
And I think that, I mean, realistically speaking, I think of like the biggest thing that I'm seeing different from Jayson now versus when he first started trying this, going on about 2 years ago, it seems like at this point was when he first started trying this. Every single time he is getting so much sharper on that break ball. I mean, he's almost at like 85 degrees on some of these break balls, and his cue ball is it's so much better now. After running into the cluster. It's not flying all over the place like it was before. It's
no, but that's what I was saying. He had the break under control. It didn't look like scratching. There's a couple of times it's always going to get away a little bit, and you're going to think, ooh. But the majority of the time, you know, he was getting
500 plus.
Yeah, exactly. He was getting through the pack and getting the bottom rail and just coming straight back out, or he was getting through the pack and staying underneath the pack and then having the cut shot back to then open whatever was left open, kind of thing. And that shot came up so many times, and he took it every time. The amount of times he had a ball on the short rail that was just an easy one to come back round, and he had a thin cut just underneath the pack, back into the bottom corner, and he took the thin cut on every single time. And I'm looking at it from where I'm thinking, you know, one's a guaranteed, the other one's, you know, could go wrong. But he's just ramming it every time, and balls are just flying up everywhere. And the little nudges that he was playing around the pack to make sure that one ball just came out of the rack into the same spot every single time to be left with a perfect break ball. And it was continually just finding that little nudge, and there it is again, same spot.
Yeah. So Jim, can you send Jayson a couple quid? He's a little short on money these days, I think.
Well, he was selling his cue that he did the 714 with. I hope he sold it before he did 832, because it's not worth quite as much as what it was a few days ago anymore.
Yeah, probably just like depreciated by about 60%.
I was going to say, yeah, you can forget about that extra 50% because it's that cue, because it's not that cue anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess the video's getting checked. Jayson says he's had a look at the video. There's a lot of people that were asking, you know, is it a clean run? Is it a clean run? There's going to be from what I understand, there's going to be different sets of people that are going to have a look at the video and just check and make sure that there's a clean run.
I understand it has to happen, but how stupid is that?
Well, you want to have it because you want to make sure that everybody has to go
absolutely,
through it.
Absolutely.
You know?
No,
we listen, we've seen video clips of other persons.
No, we haven't, because they're still not released.
No. Since then, where let's just say that either the camera was moving its spot on the side of the table every so often, or the rack was going up and down every so often.
Well,
so you know, these things have
properly.
to be checked. Jayson says he's watched it. He says it's clean. Great. I hope there's absolutely no doubts about it, because there was a little bit of controversy about whether it's 669 or 714. That's gone now. If this one's declared completely clean, 832 is a new mark. But for how long? That'll be up to Jayson, I guess.
Jayson and Jayson alone, because I don't think that anybody else is interested at this point.
No, I don't think anybody's motivated enough. I don't know where he got the motivation from. I think he's just a bit of a nutcase to put himself through that every single time. But he wants that 1,000, and we all want to see him. We'll get that 1,000. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how irrelevant does this make John?
And I think he will get it. I think he will. I think without a doubt that he'll only not get it if he decides not to try anymore.
So yeah, this makes John Schmidt's record look pretty insignificant.
Well, I put on Facebook every time Jayson does one of these, he makes me feel worse about my own record. I used to think mine was pretty good. now percentage-wise, it's getting less and less and less. It used to be like 25% of the world record. Now I'm down to like 15% of the world record.
I think my high run in 10 ball is higher than my high run in straight pool.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I so rude all the time, Jim.
Sorry, I was just agreeing with you. I thought that I was meant to agree with you more often.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep. Good work, pal.
Yeah. So let's Jason's still in the chat. If everybody was to try it, let's say there was $1 million for the first one to get 1,000. Other than yourself, who do you think would be the favorite to possibly do it? For Jayson, let's see what he says. Although don't pick yourself, because we all know that we already know that you can do it. You've done 832. Who would be?
There's only one answer for this.
No, I think there's more possibilities, but there's one. I think there's probably one that the majority of people would say, but I think Jayson will just say nobody.
95% of people will say Fedor. 4% will say nobody, or not Fedor. Filler. 4% will say like nobody, and 1% will say somebody else.
But I don't know. I think there's a load of Filipinos. You know, they love the straight pool. I think over there they're just fanatics. They're idiots.
But they're But
I don't necessarily think.
I don't think any of it.
I don't think you can necessarily go on world ranking by who have the best chance of doing this. You know.
I don't think any of the Filipinos have tight enough mechanics to not. I mean, I know that they're 5-inch pockets, but like. The Filipinos will miss some balls every now and then just because they're just so loose on that back wrist. And they're not all like that, of course.
I don't know. I think you've got to be a bit loose, you know.
Maybe.
Jason's not answering, so I'll take that as a no comment. He doesn't think anyone could do it.
My list of people that could do it, like theoretically, I think Josh would be the only person that realistically could do it, outside of Jayson, of course. But if I had to create a list, it would be Mieszko and Conrad, because I think they both play with enough pace, and I think that they play enough straight pool, and they're both talented enough that I think those two could possibly do it.
I honestly think Niels could do it, but it would take him about 15 hours, and he would do like 3 hours, then take an hour break, then do another 3 hours, take an hour break.
Yeah, and I don't think that you could do that.
I'm not sure if that's really within the spirit of it to be taking all these breaks kind of thing. I think Jayson probably only took maybe about 1 or 2 breaks during his. He took a break when he got 7:15, and you could see on him that he was sort of like, okay. And he was really getting wound up about it kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know what the rules in that would be. You know, how can you leave the table overnight and then come back and start again, keep going? You know.
No, I think that that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't finish like. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking. Doubt it. Nope. I don't like it. Nope.
No, I don't.
Gotta do it all at once.
And if it's going to be all at once, then you significantly reduce the amount of people that have the possibility of doing it. You know.
Yeah, I think the list. If I had to name 5 players in the world that could do it, Josh, Jayson, Conrad, Mieszko, and maybe. I mean,
are you just going to pick all the Europeans?
No. I maybe like a Koping Chung could do it too, because he is quite. I think there's Asian players out there that yes. Yeah, but all of mine are based literally off of the physical ability to get around the table, not only and hold up, but like also that aren't going to be on the shot for longer than
3 to 4 seconds. I mean, they're down, they shoot, they're out. Like Fedor, I just don't. If first off, if Fedor was to run 1,000 balls, it would probably take him 15 hours, realistically speaking. I mean, if I think
Jason would take 10. Yeah, Jason would take 10. And on the speed that he's been doing it, it would be about 10 hours for Jason. Yeah, a little bit under probably.
Didn't he just run 8:32 in 4 hours?
Yeah, okay, but it was a bit less really with the breaks and yeah. But yeah, about 4 hours. Yeah.
Jason would do it in 5 or probably 6 hours because he'd really tighten up when he got closer. I bet it'd be 6 or 7.
What did I say?
You said 10 hours.
Well, no. Sorry, yeah. No, 5 hours. 5 hours.
Yeah.
He's on about 200 an hour. 5 hours. Yeah.
I think if Fedor would it'd be 12 hours, minimum 12 hours.
No. Fedor's not taking double the amount of shot time as Jason. He will on certain shots, but the majority of them he'll be almost as quick as Jason. The majority of shots are just little stop shots, stuns kind of thing. And
what did when John Schmidt ran his? He ran 6:26 in like 6.5 hours. Fedor's going to be slower than John Schmidt, and he's got to double the amount of balls, right?
We'll never know until somebody puts up big money for it. We'll never know because the only person that's going to this 8:32. If Jason says I'm not doing this anymore, I'm done. 8:32 is going to be the world record for a long time.
Yeah, it'll never get done again.
If Jason decides he wants to continue shooting for that 1,000, which I genuinely think he will, then he'll break it again. Just hope next time that he gets to the 1,000 when he does it. You know, it'd be heartbreaking to go 950 next or whatever. You know, and have to start again.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. He went from, I mean, what he ran like 5:30 or something like that. What originally, and then he went from 5 whatever to 6:68 or 7:14, whatever you want to say. It's 7:14. I don't care what anybody says. So he increased it by 200, and he almost increased it by another 100 and some change. So
160, 118. Yeah.
Yep. It's so poetic. He lands exactly on his Fargo rate. How funny is that?
It's got something with numbers, you know. Yeah. Numbers have, hey, we're mathematicians, mate. Numbers have a funny way of, you know, showing up and meaning something. Yeah.
That's a little known fact about the Queued Up podcast. The two hosts are both mathematicians. Although you're applied, aren't you?
4.
You were applied mathematics, weren't you?
Yes. I was proper mathematics.
I prove the things that you use. Congratulations. You're welcome. All in good fun, that. I don't know. I got nothing. What do you got? Anything for me? You want to yell at each other for a while? That could be fun.
You want to do what?
You want to yell at each other for a while? That could be fun.
No, I can't be bothered. Does anybody in the chat got any questions? Since we're here for another, let's say we're here for another 22 minutes.
There was something that I thought would be. Oh yeah, Hillbilly Island Life said the pocket size has so much to do with the run. If players are going to start doing this challenge, I'll put it up here. Consistently, there have to be specific rules and on the pocket and table dimensions for each attempt. I mean, that definitely is true. It definitely is true.
There is the guidelines since this all started, kind of thing. The guidelines have now been laid down with the maximum pocket, the cut, the table, the size. So the guidelines are there, but you can guarantee that anybody who tries this and has a table set up will go to the extreme outers of all the guidelines to give them.
And depending on who's doing it, they might go a little over if they think they can get away with it. You cannot tell me that if there was $1 million to get to 1,000, that those Filipino tables would not be completely sprayed all the way up.
Are you saying those people in the pool world that are perhaps not 100% honest?
Yeah, you.
Nah, claiming like that's not fair.
Well, tell me I'm wrong, punk.
You're wrong, punk.
Yeah.
How about Ruslan getting back into competition? I haven't heard about that, Sean.
I haven't heard about it either.
Is Ruslan Shinnikov, is he back in business, is he? I personally haven't heard anything about that.
I haven't seen him anywhere.
He'll be at Turning Stone. Okay.
Cool. I will be there for some on-site reporting.
That's a dude that can play a good straight pull.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sean decided to skip out on this podcast because he thinks he's better than us, but I guess he's at least going to be on site Turning Stone to do some.
Yeah, but he also
reporting
thought
for us.
America was going to win Mosconi easily. So, oh well.
What can you do?
When are you going to start getting people on here that actually know what they're talking about?
When I get rid of you. But I could never get rid of you, Jim. You're like the boil on my butt. I don't know. Sounded good in my head.
Should have stayed there.
I don't know. You can't have any fun. What else can you have? Yeah, the WNT TV has been released. That's kind of fun.
Yep, there's some matches on there already. You can watch the World Championship finals between Fedor and Kachi. And I guess that's going to be basically replacing everybody's Matchroom Live TV and your DAZN subscription. So all your people that were complaining about DAZN, you don't have to.
Which you should be, because it's garbage.
I have no experience with it. I don't know.
Garbage.
I get my viewing pleasure from different source.
Let's put it this way. So Jim, your dumbass woke up for that Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight, right?
Yep, because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you know how bad that was? Not only streaming wise, but also the fight wise. That's like DAZN all the time. Like that's the best case scenario for DAZN.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Well, hopefully it's not an issue anymore with WNT TV live. Yeah, get in there. I think what's the subscription? $9.99 a month or something like that. So I don't know what you paid for DAZN.
Like 25, I think. And then I think they jacked it. Like I haven't used it for over 2 years because, well, one, I'm on site for most of these events now. But two, like I'm not going to pay for a product that doesn't work worth a crap. It just doesn't. It didn't work. So I just threw on a VPN and paid for the Matchroom stuff. It's a lot easier that way. Okay,
but have you done the Matchroom, the WNT live? Have you gone into it yet? Yeah,
not yet, because I mean I've already watched most of the matches that are on that I figured that they were going to be broadcasting. So I'm like, what am I? I'm not really watching anything new. So
there you go, $10 a month or $100 for a year. $100 for a year for all the Matchroom events and everything. I don't think that's too bad a deal, to be honest. You're probably talking, what are you talking about? $10 an event or something like that?
Well, and not only that, I mean, it's one of those situations where like you would end up like getting a DAZN subscription for $25 and then canceling it right away. Get that month, and then next thing you know, 2 months down the line, you're ready for another event. You buy it again and you cancel it again. You end up doing that 3, 4, 5 times a year. And this is cheaper than that, and you don't have to worry about canceling it. So win-win all the way around.
Yeah. So get on to it, WNT Live. And you'll get front row seats on your own couch for all the best Matchroom events.
I heard they're coming out with a WPA Live too.
Yeah?
No. But it sounded good.
Okay.
Well, WPA's got to compete, right?
Okay.
Matt's
saying that WNT TV on demand doesn't have all the 2024 TV table matches or all the singles Mosconi Cup. It's very selective. Well, they've only just started putting stuff down on it. So I mean, I imagine the content is going to increase over time. It's very, very early. I mean, if let's say they don't have all the matches from the Mosconi Cup within the next 2 months, then we can start going on about, well, why is it not there? But I think at the moment it's they've got to get more put onto it. But it's going to the main thing is going to be the live stuff that you're going to get. That's going to be the main attraction to it, I think.
I think that's going to be 99% of the attraction to it.
But it's not just that. It's coming in. It's just being a couple of hours late for a match and just being able to watch it. Just going straight in and watching it and not having to go into YouTube or anything to try and find it or whatever. You just go in and you watch it back. Yeah.
That's a good question. Do we think that we're going to have a Shane versus Fedor long race rematch this year? From what I heard, it was being worked on. From what I heard, is also Kachi's supposed to be having a match with potentially Fedor too.
Yeah, well, Kachi ruffled some feathers at Mosconi Cup, didn't he? So Kachi will play him.
I think Kachi beats both of them.
10 ball, yes. Yeah.
I said that. Yeah, I said that before Fedor and Shane even started. I think that Kachi beats them both. I mean, the big question mark is whether or not Kachi has the durability for a race to 100. Because as far as I know, I don't think I remember him ever playing a race to 100. I think I remember he played Alex.
Oh, he did. He played big races. Yeah.
I don't remember a recent one. I know he played. I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he played Alex Pagulayan maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I think he played him like best out of 25 or race of 25, like best 3 out of 5 sets or something like that. I believe that happened about maybe 5 or it might have been longer than that. It was a while ago. But I remember them playing that match. Who's he played since then for big matches?
Nobody really. Shane Van Bonen against Philly. Yeah, I saw that one pocket. That one confused me a little bit. I'm not entirely sure what that's all about.
Well, I think all they're trying to do there is just get a little bit more publicity for that event. Just a hunch. I mean,
what's Shane doing playing filler one pocket for 10K? That just doesn't seem like anything that.
Well, I think it's winner. I think it's winner take all, and it's free money. I think Predator's putting up the money. That's just based off of the poster. I mean, it's happening at the Las Vegas event. I don't know what they're calling it these days. I guess I could take a look at the poster, but it used to be the Diamond Las Vegas Open, and then it moved on to the Predator Apex Open, or I don't know what it's called now. It's my understanding is they're just playing for 10,000 in the middle, and Predator's putting it up, or that event is putting it up.
Yeah, I was a little bit bemused when I saw that poster. I thought, Shane, one pocket, and it's only 10K.
I mean, Shane will do anything basically for a proper enough free roll, right? He'd be stupid to turn it down.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really heard much.
I mean, I think Shane's a pretty huge favorite of that.
Nobody's really barking at each other on Facebook. Normally you see some barking and people calling each other out. It's not really happening as much as it used to.
Well, I think the industry has just gone so much more towards tournament play than it has.
Yes.
I mean, if you remember back, a little bit before COVID and during COVID, I mean, we were getting a 50,000 plus gamble, certainly quarterly, and if not monthly, and now we're getting maybe 2 to 3 a year. I mean, Tony Cho.
It's because Dennis isn't in the States anymore.
Well, I mean, yeah, I was going to say, if it wasn't for Tony Chohan, I mean, there's really nobody out there that's regularly in the grease.
Yeah.
I mean, Fedor and Shane played last year. I mean, that's about it.
Fedor wants to, and he's trying to, but realistically, I mean,
well, who wants to play him?
Exactly. How many legitimate candidates does he have to play? I mean, he's having to go into banks in one pocket just so he can get players to play against him and stuff like that. And then he gets so good at that nobody wants to play him at that either.
Well, I mean, at some point in time, you get too good, don't you?
Yeah, you burn all your own action. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Let's see. Apparently, Kachi doesn't have a big enough backer for the amount that Federer wants to play for. Well, yeah. Kachi doesn't have the Swords brothers behind him.
Well, if he won 125,000, post your own money.
Yeah. He probably used most of that recovering his car.
Well,
putting some sort of gold felt on his car.
Certainly possible, isn't it?
Yeah, for Kachi it is, yeah.
Yeah, somebody give us a question out there. We want to answer stupid stuff. I don't know.
We got 11 minutes. Did you talk about your victory over? Oh yeah, Nate. You won a tournament this week.
I won a tournament this week.
Tell us about it. I know you're dying to.
No, I'm not. I'm embarrassed.
You're embarrassed?
I won the 11th annual Jacoby Open, our sponsor to our podcast. Jacoby Custom Cues, best cues out there. I had a good run. I won my first match 5-0, my second match 5-1, third match 5-0, fourth match 5-2, and then I played Jean Salim from Germany, and I was down 4-2 against him. I was lucky enough to break and run. He made a mistake on his break, and I ran out, and then I broke and ran on the hill, which got me to the championship match, which I won over my buddy Jeremy Fedkenhauer 5-2. And then Jeremy Fedkenhauer ended up getting back to me. The B side was only a race to 4. John Salim was, I think he was a little bit on tilt after that match. He went on to the B side and lost his first match on the B side. He was up 3-1, I think, in that match, but I don't know exactly what happened. But shut up, Alicia. Yeah, my buddy Jeremy and I just ended up chopping the finals. We didn't have enough time to play before the Calcutta, and they asked us if we wanted to play it the next day, and we said we were both on the same team. The team event started that night going into the next day, and we're on the same team. We're just like, we're buddies, we're teammates. We just ended up chopping it. So, yeah. It was probably, given the outcome of the event, I beat a touring, at least a semi-touring professional, and given the scores that I had in the other matches, I would say it's probably the best tournament I've ever had, which was nice.
Very good.
Getting closer to that 700 mark. Well, I didn't. I think I looked at it last year. I think I only played 6 events by the end of last year that were Fargo ranking events. And I stopped playing basically because we made the bet last year that the loser had to pay for the other person to jump off the stratosphere, or for both of us to jump off the stratosphere. Once it was in Orlando, we kind of just scrapped that bet. So I kind of lost motivation to get to 700. So I just basically
you did do quite a bit of jumping in Orlando.
The stratosphere, I jumped in the pool
every night.
No, 2 nights.
It was only 2 nights. We were only there for 4.
I wanted to jump off. I wanted to jump in the last night, but couldn't get anybody to jump in with me. Don't worry, I still know that Jim's a better player. You're welcome, Jim. But
I can't knock you. John Salim's a good player. You must have played well to beat him.
He made an abnormally large amounts of mistakes for what I would expect from him. I think he missed 2 balls, and then he missed a positional shot that I think he got lazy on and ran into a ball that he was trying to float past. And I was able to make him pay for 2 of them and broke and ran 3 racks. It's a valley table with 4.5-inch pockets. It's not like the table conditions were super tough. I know I have 0 chance of beating.
Was that Valley Bar Box you were playing on?
Yeah.
Oh God. That explains it.
Wisconsin pool, baby. That's what it is.
John Salim, always forgiven.
Always forgiven.
Oh God, no, not a Valley bucket table. Okay.
They broke really tough.
And he missed a ball on that table.
Missed 2 of them.
Missed 2 balls on that table. That's pretty bad.
You got action.
I got action.
Yeah, he'll play you. He'll play you on one, I'm sure.
Oh, I thought you. All right.
Nope, that was then we ended up getting 3rd in the team event, which was fun. That was nice. And thanks you, Dan. I'm not a 670, I'm a 683 now. Before this tournament goes in. So who knows? I might even be up to like a 670, a 687 after this.
Is that what you get? You get 4 points for beating
Well, the Fargo race.
Okay, look, I remember I played the tournament GB9. I beat Darren Appleton. My Fargo went down.
Well,
Darren Appleton was like around the 800 at the time, and I beat him. And my Fargo, a week later, my Fargo had gone down by a couple of points. What is this all about?
Well, this actually, honestly, this actually could be like a pretty fun little thought experiment, or not a thought experiment, but like an experiment. So I have 6,080 games in the system for Fargo rate. That's a lot of games. I'm currently at a 683 Fargo. The first player I played, I believe he was a 578. I beat him 5-0. The second player I played, I believe, was a 628 Fargo. I beat him 5-1. And then I played a 638 Fargo. I beat him 5-0. And then I played a 634, 152. Then I played a 774, 154. And then I played a 720 and 1-5-2. So it'll actually be kind of interesting to see how much it does. I mean, I have to assume it will go up a little bit, but I don't know. It seems like it's pretty high. I mean, I would think that over the course of the tournament, it's probably close to 800 Fargo. I mean, I beat a 720 5-2, and I beat a 574 5-4. And then basically
so none of your results are over 780.
Well, if I'm beating a 720 5-2, that is you
don't get three racks for 80 points, do you?
No, every time that you double up their score. So if you're 100 points, you're supposed to double their score.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
if a 700 plays a 600 and a race to 4, the score should be 4-2.
Correct.
That seems tighter than it should be.
Well, it's 100 to 50. Does that seem more right?
No, that seems tighter than it should be as well.
I'm not telling you like what I think. I mean, that's exactly what Fargo rate states. That's how it's based off of. So, and it's not linear, it is quadratic. So 200 points would be 4-1. 300 points would be 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, the beating of
you're saying a 700 plays a 400, the 400 is supposed to win a rack?
Out of 8, yes. I mean, it depends on the condition. I mean, it doesn't necessarily depend on the conditions. That's kind of the magic of it. But like, I mean, it's one thing to play on a Valley bar table. It's another thing to play on a matchroom table under the lights with 4-inch pockets. But
that is one of my issues with Fargo.
But even when,
there's no consistency in the.
But according to the data that Mike Page runs, it doesn't matter. So he took the data from Shane Van Boning on because Shane, obviously coming from the Midwest, he plays on a ton of diamond bar tables, Valley bar tables, big table diamonds, big table Olhausens, basically you name the table, he's played on it, basically from where he's come from. And if you can just separate those things out, his Fargo rate was within like 13 points, whether he's on a bar table Valley or a big table diamond or whatever it is. I mean, that's kind of the fun part of it, I guess. It's supposed to be pretty accurate.
Yeah,
Good talk.
Good talk. Oh.
I think that's the smartest thing that you've ever said on the 6 years you've been on this podcast. Good work, buddy.
Pretty good, eh? And it was all gas as well, which I'm happy about. Right, are we done? We have now 1 minute and 10 seconds. We might actually finish a podcast before an hour is up.
Well, I got to run. No, because I gotta push some ads for Jacoby because Jacoby actually is like a super awesome sponsor to us, and doesn't matter because both players are playing on the same condition. What are you poking at me for,
Jacoby?
Really quick. Yeah, we're going. Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, no. Jason asked the question.
All right, we're going to
be allowed to play WPA events. Is that to do with?
Why would he be able to?
Is that to do because he's playing a match against? Shane won't be able to play WPA. Shouldn't be. He played Hanoi. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
So he shouldn't be playing any WPA events.
I don't know.
That's going to be the next thing. That's going to be the next thing that happens. Somebody's going to play a WPA event.
He's going. Oh shit! Yeah, Jason's right because he's playing. Well, he's going to Vegas. Is he playing Vegas or is he just flying out there for a weekend to play?
Yeah, because technically he shouldn't be allowed to play.
No, absolutely. I didn't even think about it.
It's going to happen. Somebody's going to end up playing one of these events, and they're going to get caught. And somebody's going to say, "Hold on a minute. You played Hanoi. I played Hanoi. I'm not allowed. You are allowed." The whole thing's going to blow up, and everyone's going to go apeshit because somebody's going to slip through the net somewhere. But yeah, why have my chat disappeared? Oh no, didn't. Yeah.
No, I'm with you there. I mean, that makes sense to me. I didn't think about that. I mean, he's going out there to play the one pocket. He could just be playing the one pocket, though. I mean, Sean said he's only playing the one pocket. That would make sense. I mean, why would you turn down a potential at a $10,000 paycheck? And I'm sure that they're going to. I'm sure they're going to pay for his flights out there if he's going to come out there and play in that. So he's basically getting a free trip to Vegas for the weekend, and he's going to get to play a matchup for potentially $10,000 of free money. And I think Matt brings up an interesting comment there. Like maybe he gets invited into, maybe there's somebody who doesn't make it to the WPA World 10 Ball, and maybe he sneaks his way in, and Predator says bump all to the WPA.
Or they entice him there for the one pocket money so they can have a chat with him and try and convince him, like they did with Filler and Albin, that the WPA is the way to go.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll work. One of those tours has $1 million purse and one doesn't.
Just saying.
And I think he's. I do agree with Sean. I think he's a huge favorite in that one pocket. I don't think he loses to Josh. I think he beats him 10-6.
One pocket.
Yeah. People don't realize how good Shane is at one pocket because he hates the game and doesn't play it.
No, I know. If he's good at everything, let's be honest. But there's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot of stuff comes out in the wash the next few months. Yeah. I think it's all being said on the chat. I really don't need to say much more than what's going on in the chat at the moment. Money talks.
Well, let me throw this hypothetical at you, Jim. And what do you think that this would mean if this happened? Shane goes out there, plays that one pocket. He gets invited into the WPA World 10 Ball and plays it. The WPA. You now have Predator and Matchroom, that are the two biggest entities in the industry, and basically they're not combining forces against the WPA, but they're both basically saying you have no jurisdiction, you have no rule. What do you think that what would happen if that happens? You think?
Yeah, but if the Predator would then have to not have the World 10 Ball sanctioned by the WPA.
Or what? What I mean, if what I'm saying is if Predator says bump the WPA, Shane, you can play in this event with us.
Yeah. But that would have to be the first move. The first move would have to be,
and that's what I'm asking.
Sanctioned with the WPA.
Yes, that's what I'm asking right now.
I mean, I thought this would be what would happen as soon as the bans went ahead. I thought, well, if I'm Predator and I'm putting all my money into my events, I want all the best players to be available for my events. Why would I get sanctioning from somebody who's going to then give me a list of players that I'm not allowed to have in my event? So I'm just not going to sanction with you. If Matchroom don't need to sanction me, why the hell am I going to sanction with you? What are you doing for me as well? I just want the players in my events. It's as simple as that. I want the coverage. I want the best players in the world playing in my events if I'm going to be paying out this money. So, I mean, yeah. Predator could quite easily go to the WPA and say, our events are not banned.
Well, yeah, and Matt is saying the 6 months ban would be it does like as far as I understand, the 6 month ban is when you could apply to be allowed back into WPBA
and pay a $500 fine.
Yeah, well, you still have to apply to get back into it. Like it's not like all right, 6 months is done. Here's my $500. Let me.
And you have to play in 0 events in the 6 months.
Yeah, so I don't think that that doesn't matter.
the 6 months doesn't mean anything, because the WPA can just say, no, you're not allowed back in. I mean, you still have to be allowed back in. So, but as far as, I mean, does the WPA literally just dissolve at that point if Predator and Matchroom basically say your sanctions mean nothing here?
The WPA never dissolves. The WPA will always be there. The WPA will never dissolve. The WPA will never go away.
The WPA will never go away, or the idea of the WPA will never go away?
But whose idea of the WPA? 9-ball pool players.
I could see the WPA going away and having something take its place.
No, they will just. It's basically like the layers of a tower block, and they're losing the penthouse, but they've still got the rest of it. The penthouse has been bought over by somebody else, taken over by somebody else. They've still got the rest of the tower block. It's just not as attractive, and it's a lower class of person who's going to be living in it. Yeah,
I don't know. I could see that if Predator decides at this point in time that they want to allow Shane into this event and basically say, bump the WPA, your sanctioning and your ban list, what happens? I mean, I don't see how the WPA can go to them and say, what are they going to do? Say you can't sell BK rushes anymore? I mean, Predator's going to do Predator things regardless.
WPA can't do anything about it. The WPA can do absolutely nothing about it. If Predator turn around and do exactly the same as what Matchroom have done and said, we're just not sanctioned with you, the WPA can't do anything about it.
I think that's the catalyst for the House of Cards to fall.
Then they have to start banning players that are playing in Predator events as well. So Matchroom events and Predator events. Then they're banning it. Who have you got left?
Yeah, so I was going to say the 15 to 25% of players in the top 200 in the world list that you have on your tour now. I mean, how many of those are Predator players, and how many of them would be left?
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking maybe 10 players in the top 200 at that point in time that are going to hang around and chase the China Open, the China Open, the high ball competitions.
But even the Eurotour becomes a problem because Predator are producing, are giving the tables to the Eurotour now as well, to the APBF. So
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
If they turn around to the WPA and stick a finger up to them, they can just turn around and say, you know what, forget it, we're not giving you the tables anymore.
The Qatar Open, the Maldives Open, maybe, but who's going to play that event again? Nobody got paid, or Carlo didn't even get paid last year.
Yeah, there's too much of that going on as well.
Well, I mean, if your job literally is to police the industry to make sure that doesn't happen, and it ends up happening, I mean, what kind of pull do you have? I guess I don't know. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors that to make this happen. So Jacoby Custom Cues, I played in your event last weekend. It was amazing. You guys do awesome work. One of the best people in the industry, Brandon Jacoby. And here's an ad for them, which was their beautiful cue of the year in 2022.
Very nice.
Such a beautiful, beautiful cube. And I do want
Little
sushi.
Chris wants some sushi. he'll eat it with a knife and fork.
Sounds yummy. Also, we'll give a shout out to Billiard Digest, Salado Pool, Horo Tips, and Littman Lights. Awesome stuff. And we'll give a shout out to Jim for coming and hanging out with me. And we didn't get to yell at each other much today. That was boring.
I ran out of insults at Mosconi Cup, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I know that it pains you a little bit how much you love me, and I know that you can only dish out so much hatred before you have to, come sniveling and crawling back to me.
We had a good time. Made people cry. Yeah.
I know what I do. I'll tell you what. The people behind us at the Mosconi Cup, we had them laughing a lot. We had them like rolling for a while.
Yeah, that was quite funny. I think they were a bit bemused why there was this European guy sat in the middle of them all. It all turned out quite well. It was good fun. Yeah, I got quite fortunate with the group of Americans that were around us that they were quite accepting of the fact that I was just sitting there ripping the shit out of everybody. It was good fun. Yeah, it was real good fun. It was definitely one of the best Mosconi, probably right up there, top 2 or 3 Mosconi Cups that I've been, and I've been to quite a lot. So we'll see. Only 11 months to go, and then we'll do it again.
Yeah, I think this year Alicia and I decided that we're going to go to Ireland and Scotland before the Mosconi Cup instead of we usually try to do about a week to a week and a half when we're over there, just because the trip is so long to come over there and to come over there for.
I think that might not be too bad an idea, because let's just say that perchance Jayson Shaw makes a team again. It's pretty much become a tradition that either before or after that the team ends up going up to Scotland to McGoldrick's, and it wouldn't surprise me if they end up in McGoldrick's before Mosconi Cup to get into Greece for going down there. So being in Scotland before the Mosconi Cup might not be a bad idea. If you pop into McGoldrick's, it is the best sports bar in the UK officially. It won the award, and apparently it's an amazing place. I've been dying to go over there. I've been trying to go over for tournaments, but I just haven't been able to make it work. But yeah, definitely worth going to McGoldrick Sports Bar in Scotland, in Glasgow.
Well, swing over.
Jason's family, Jason's sister and his brother-in-law. Yeah. So yeah, listen, hey, if you're going to do that, then I might just extend a little bit and I'll pop over to Scotland first as well. We can cause some havoc up there before we go down.
That sounds like something you and I would like to do.
It does sound like something for it. And then people might get to see that challenge match that they've been shouting for. Yeah, I might bring my cues with me. Oh no, I'll just use a rack cue. It'll be fine. I'll make it fair. I'll use a rack cue.
Oh, you're making fun of me. Oh, I see what you did there.
You're clever, right?
You're an asshole. All right, Jim's kicked out. No more Jim. Ever again. Oh, got him back right there. Perfect. All right, people. We've probably made your ears bleed enough. We're gonna get out of here now. Jim, thanks again for joining me. And I guess we'll try to be back on about the weekly schedule or so. Getting your feeds a little bit more than we have been lately. But it was nice to have a little break over the holidays. And thanks, everybody, for being patient. But we got something out for you. So thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next week.